This is the village of Telnice, that's Telnice in German, which at the Battle of Austerlitz on the 2nd of December 1805 marked the southernmost part of the French position, and it was the weak right wing which Napoleon had created, especially weakened to lure in the Russians and the Austrians. And the Austrians under Michael von Kainmayen, the Russians under Dmitri Doktoro and Friedrich Wilhelm von Buxenhofen attacked the 3rd French Line infantry here. This opened the battle at around 8 o'clock in the morning on that day. It looked a lot different then, because obviously it was December and not May. But I think the village would have had a similar layout. 3 roads coming in here. This is the main square today. There's about 1,400 people live here, something along those lines. Of course, the village would have been completely destroyed. It was captured by the Allies. The Allies were thrown out when French reinforcements came, and then those reinforcements came under attack, so it was recaptured again by the Allies, and then finally, at the end of the battle, being recaptured once more by the French. So the population would have suffered terribly as a result of it, and the town would have been destroyed. I would like to say one thing, obviously this is more my political ideologies, but it was the responsibility of the Habsburg rulers to look after these people and not try to look after himself, declaring war on the French and having wars against the French, which ended up in the deaths of these people who lived here. They've also suffered from other conflicts, and we'll have a quick look at this one here, which is from the First World War. Again, a war in which the Czechs fought on the side of the Habsburgs in this case, and a lot of people, I think, do look back on the Austro-Hungarian Empire with a certain amount of nostalgia, and you can see there the losses. And one thing that strikes me is that these people were not particularly young. Now, some of them have clearly died of their wounds after the battle. 1924, for example, 1920. But for a village of this size, and I presume it was a similar size then, and there's quite a lot of names up there. So there's 39 names, a quick count, maybe I got that wrong. This was put up on the 10th anniversary of Czechoslovakia becoming independent. And I also want to point out as well the memorial from the Second World War, on which there are even more names, but it also has the names of the Russian troops who died liberating, or shall I say, I think liberating is the right word, but changing hands, getting rid of the Nazis anyway. And so if we take it from this angle here, we've got these names starting off with, so people who died during the liberation of the town. People who were deported from here to camps. 2 names of locals, one who died as a partisan, and the other one who died in the hands of the Gestapo. And there are the names of the Red Army troops which helped in the liberation, because it was for them, they gave their lives to free the locals from Nazism and hand them over to Stalin. Of course, that was the effect that it had. Now, from here, we can't really get a particularly clear view of what happened during the Battle of Austerlitz. But I actually have filmed it from further up the village where there is an extremely clear view of what happened on that day. And to me, looking at it from that angle, I suspect Napoleon himself must have seen it from a similar angle to get a better appreciation. And when I was here 8 years ago, I did not get this appreciation which I got today. I came here from a different angle. Didn't plan on being in Teplice like this. I just sort of ended up being here. And here on the right, finally, I'd just like to point out this memorial, which was put up to the Hungarians who died here, obviously on the Habsburg side, the Battle of Austerlitz in 1805, and there we have in English, commemorating all brave Czechs fallen at Austerlitz, Czech Hussar and infantry reenactors, Minister of Defence of Hungary, Municipality of Telnice, Hungarian Civic Association of Brno.